They are feared, they are hated, they are seen as symbols of cruelty. One dry rattle can stop a person faster than any scream. For millions of years, that sound has meant one thing: stay away. But how justified is our fear of rattlesnakes? The New World is home to dozens of these famous reptiles. Some will avoid conflict at any cost. Others carry venom capable of turning a bite into a fight for life within hours. But the most surprising thing is, the deadliest rattlesnakes are not always the biggest, and not always the most aggressive. Today we'll follow the entire path, from a massive, gentle giant whose reputation is worse than its venom, to a true masterpiece of evolution, whose weapon can disrupt the nervous system and slowly shut the body down. This is the ranking of the 10 most dangerous rattlesnakes on Earth, and we'll begin with those who look far more terrifying than they really are. The black-tailed rattlesnake, a hot mountainside in Arizona. A massive 6-foot snake moves slowly among the cacti. Most people seeing such a giant instinctively step back, certain they're facing one of the continent's deadliest snakes. But this is where the first illusion begins. The black-tailed rattlesnake is a true pacifist by rattlesnake standards. It doesn't seek conflict and almost always chooses to retreat. If it can disappear, it will. If it can hide, it will. Most surprising of all, despite its impressive size, it has one of the weakest venoms among the large rattlesnakes. For small mammals, that's more than enough. But compared to what lies ahead, its weapon seems almost modest. The black-tailed rattlesnake is a reminder. Size doesn't always mean danger. Sometimes the biggest monster is the calmest. And now, one more fascinating fact. The rattle on its tail isn't just an ornament. After every shed, a new segment is added. In theory, you could use them to tell its age. But in reality, the segments often break off and are lost. That's why even scientists can rarely tell exactly how old a particular snake is. The rock rattlesnake. If the black-tailed rattlesnake is easy to spot, the next snake on our list does the opposite. It disappears, literally. Gray rocks, shadows, cracks in the stone, and somewhere among them lies a snake barely 2 feet long. You can look straight at it and never see it. Its camouflage is so perfect that many hikers realize it's there only after they've already passed by. But here's the paradox. This rattlesnake isn't considered especially dangerous to people, not because it's poorly armed. The reason is much simpler. It's too small. Small fangs, a small supply of venom. Its entire strategy is built for hunting small prey among the rocks. For a human, such an encounter usually ends with fear, not serious consequences. Still, it should never be underestimated, because these invisible snakes are often the ones closest to our boots. And here nature has another surprise. Some rattlesnakes can sense heat. Between the eye and the nostril are special heat-sensing pits. They work almost like thermal cameras. The snake can literally see body heat in complete darkness. For hunting at night, it's a true superpower. The Sidewinder rattlesnake, the Mojave Desert. High noon, the sand is so hot you can't even touch it. Yet across its surface moves a strange snake. It doesn't crawl the way most snakes do. It glides sideways, leaving mysterious parallel tracks behind. This is the Sidewinder rattlesnake, one of the most unusual members of the rattlesnake family. Above its eyes are small horn-like scales, giving it the look of a mythical creature. But once again, looks can be deceiving. Its venom is much weaker than that of most of its relatives. The reason is simple. Evolution never creates more than it needs. This snake mainly hunts lizards, small rodents, and other tiny desert animals. For prey like that, a powerful toxin simply isn't necessary. So the Sidewinder relies not on power, but on precision, on camouflage, on the speed of its strike, and on the ability to vanish beneath the sand in seconds. But this is where the most peaceful rattlesnakes end. From here on, our ranking enters the snakes whose bite can have far more serious consequences. And some of them look so calm that people make a fatal mistake by getting too close. Southern California. The sun slowly sinks behind the rocky hills. Among the reddish-brown rocks, it's almost impossible to spot a snake that looks like part of the landscape. The red diamond rattlesnake, one of the most beautiful members of its kind. Its brick-red color blends so perfectly with its surroundings that even experienced naturalists sometimes walk right past it. But beauty can be deceiving. This is a large, well-armed snake, but that's not the surprise. Despite its size, the red diamond rattlesnake rarely seeks conflict. While most people expect an instant attack, it usually gives a warning first. First, the rattle, then a defensive display, and only then the strike. Its venom is already far more potent than that of the snakes before it. A bite requires serious medical treatment, but among the larger rattlesnakes, it is still considered a species of moderate danger, like the last stop before meeting the true heavyweights of this ranking. But the surprises don't end there. Rattlesnakes don't always inject their full venom supply. In many cases, they can control how much venom they deliver. Sometimes the bite is almost dry. Evolution has taught them to conserve their precious weapon, which takes time to replace. The prairie rattlesnake. Early morning. A farmer opens the gate to his pasture. Hundreds of miles away, a hiker climbs a mountain trail. Farther south, a family sets up camp at the edge of a forest. These people will never meet, but they share one thing. Any one of them could come face to face with the same predator, the prairie rattlesnake. From southern Canada to northern Mexico, this species has mastered almost every landscape. Deserts, grasslands, mountains, forests. It's not the most venomous, not the largest, and not the most aggressive member of the family, but that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. It's everywhere. Most people who encounter rattlesnakes in North America meet this one. Its venom can cause serious effects without prompt medical care. But the prairie rattlesnake's greatest strength isn't just its venom, it's in its numbers, its wide range, and its ability to appear where people least expect to find a dangerous snake. But survival depends on more than successful hunting. Some rattlesnakes can go for months without food. After a successful hunt, their metabolism slows dramatically. In effect, the snake enters an extreme energy-saving mode, a survival strategy refined by millions of years of evolution. The timber rattlesnake, a dense forest, fallen leaves, silence, and somewhere among the trees lies a snake that became part of American history. But most remarkable of all, this species earned its reputation not through bright colors or aggressive behavior, but through a combination of power, caution, and a habit of always warning before it strikes. The timber rattlesnake rarely seeks conflict, but if its warning is ignored, the consequences can be severe. The timber rattlesnake is truly one of the most fascinating members of the family. Large, calm, patient, and that's exactly why so many people underestimate it. Yet when necessary, it can deliver a remarkably complex venom. That's why an encounter with this forest giant is always unpredictable. But even it doesn't make the top 4 of our ranking, because from this point on, every bite is considered a true medical emergency. But before we continue, I'm curious what you think. Which snake has surprised you the most so far? The gentle giant, the black-tailed rattlesnake, the invisible snake among the rocks, or the strange horned hunter of the desert? Tell us in the comments which one was the biggest surprise. And if you enjoy documentaries like this that challenge popular myths, support the channel by subscribing. Now, back to the ranking. Our next contender is the perfect example of just how dangerous a rattlesnake's weapon can become. The tiger rattlesnake. Sometimes the most dangerous things look completely harmless. Next to some of the snakes on our list, the tiger rattlesnake looks almost harmless. A small body, a slender shape, a surprisingly tiny head. Nothing about its appearance warns of danger, But this is where looks are most deceptive. The tiger rattlesnake has one of the most toxic venoms of any rattlesnake in North America. Its venom is so potent that scientists have studied it for years. It's as if nature created the perfect weapon, then made one strange compromise. Because of its small head, this snake can't inject as much venom in a single bite as its larger relatives. The result is a remarkable paradox. One of the continent's most venomous rattlesnakes didn't rank higher only because its own anatomy limits it. But it should never be underestimated. This is one case where even a small dose demands the utmost respect. But even the most powerful venom is useless if the prey can't be reached. A rattlesnake's strike is faster than human reaction. Only a fraction of a second passes between the launch and the impact. People often realize what happened only after the snake has already returned to its original position. The eastern diamondback rattlesnake. Now forget everything we've said about compact size. This is a true giant. The king of America's forests. A massive body as thick as a human forearm, a weight bound of several kilograms, a length approaching 8 feet. When such a predator lies among dry leaves, it looks like a coiled fire hose left on the ground. But its greatest weapon isn't its size. It's what that size allows it to do. The eastern diamondback can deliver enormous amounts of venom, colossal by snake standards. If the tiger rattlesnake relies on potency, this giant relies on volume. Its long fangs resemble miniature syringes, and every strike comes with a massive injection of toxins. That's why experts treat this species with enormous respect, not because its venom is the most powerful, but because there's so much of it. Yet even this giant ranks below the next snakes on our list, because from here on, it's not just about how much venom a snake carries, it's also about how often it encounters people. And that brings us to the feature that made rattlesnakes famous around the world. Rattlesnakes appeared millions of years ago, but their famous rattle evolved much later. In many ways, it's one of the most unusual warning signals in the animal kingdom. Most predators attack in silence. A rattlesnake gives you a chance to leave first. If Western filmmakers had to choose the perfect snake villain, this would be it. A dusty road, hot air, thorny bushes, and the unmistakable rattle that makes you freeze. The Western diamondback rattlesnake, the most famous rattlesnake in North America. Unlike many of its relatives, it is far less likely to give way. While others prefer to slip away, this one often stands its ground. That's why so many encounters between people and rattlesnakes involve this species. Not because its venom is the most powerful, but because its world constantly overlaps with ours. Hiking trails, highways, farms, pastures. Where people live, this snake often lives too. Add to that its large size, a huge venom supply, highly effective toxins, and you get a combination that has kept it among the continent's most dangerous snakes for decades. Many experts believe its legend was built not only on its venom, but on its temperament, because even the most powerful weapon is useless if it's never used. Yet despite its reputation, the top spot belongs to a completely different species, a snake that chose a different path of evolution. This is where the true finale of our story begins. But before we reveal our number one, there's one important thing to remember. Modern medicine and anti-venom have greatly improved the chances of surviving a rattlesnake bite. Most serious outcomes are caused not by the snake itself, but by losing valuable time. That's why the most important rule never changes. Respect for wildlife will always serve you better than putting your luck to the test. The cascabel. Night falls. Somewhere in the open woodlands of South America, a snake lies perfectly still. At first glance, it looks no different from the others on this list. The same rattle, the same hunting posture, the same lightning-fast strike. But hidden inside its venom is a completely different weapon. Most rattlesnakes rely mainly on toxins that attack the blood vessels, and surrounding tissue. The cascabel took a different path. Its greatest weapon is neurotoxins, substances that disrupt the transmission of nerve signals. Imagine a vast network of wires connecting the brain to the body. Now, imagine someone slowly disconnecting those lines one by one. That's why experts consider the cascabel the most dangerous snake in this ranking. The paradox is that its first symptoms may seem less dramatic than those of some other species, but that's exactly what makes it so deceptive. While the victim is judging their condition, the toxin keeps working. Without prompt medical treatment, the consequences can become extremely serious. It's the combination of effectiveness, its unique mode of action, and the high risk of complications that puts the cascabel at number 1. And here's what's remarkable. We began this ranking with a peaceful giant that would rather avoid conflict, and we end it with a snake that chose a completely different path of evolution. But the real message of this film isn't about which snake is the scariest. The truth is, most rattlesnakes do not hunt people. They don't chase them, and they don't seek human encounters. Their rattle exists for one reason: to avoid conflict. They give a warning. We just need to listen. Now I'd like to hear from you. Which snake surprised you the most? The peaceful black-tailed giant? The tiny tiger rattlesnake with one of the most powerful venoms in the family? Or the cascabel, our number 1? Tell us in the comments. Do you agree with this ranking? And which snake would you like to see in our next documentary? If you enjoyed this film, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There are many more amazing stories from the animal world ahead, where reality is far more incredible than myth. Until next time, take care and watch your step where nature is still in charge.